Well, hello there and welcome back to the very latest New Year's edition of the Love Machine podcast. Now, as we all know, at the start of the new year, many of us make a New Year's resolution that we're going to do something a bit different this year. For many of my clients, it's perhaps to find love, to start dating again, to do something a little bit more adventurous when it comes to your fitness, to your nutrition. Maybe you're going to start that diet you talked about since Christmas when you were shoving down the Christmas pudding. But many people do not stick to these goals. They do not know how to do this. So to help you, I'm going to introduce the New Year's Revolution with an amazing coach. I've got the wonderful Miki Ferris here to join me today. And she is a fitness, nutrition, and mindset coach who I have spoken to several times. And I'm really excited because we're going to do a lot of things together this year. And we have some big plans. But she is the one to talk to. So today we're going to discuss all these wonderful things. So Miki, how are you doing?
Hi there, James. What an amazing introduction and Happy New Year to everybody. I'm doing really well, thank you.
Brilliant. Yes, Happy New Year to everybody. That's a very important thing to say. Let us know in the comments, email us, how is your new year going already? Are you excited for this year? Are you perhaps a bit nervous? What's going through your thoughts? I know many of you are coming to me already. You want some support with dating. I'm sure, Mickey, you're really busy already. So tell everyone that's listening a bit more about yourself. How did you become a fitness, nutrition, and mindset coach?
Yeah, so I've been in the industry for a while now, and I think it came out of a personal passion for me. So I used to work with big commercial brands in branding and marketing back in the day. And I actually developed a really severe condition called Crohn's disease, which left me feeling terrible, lack of energy. I wasn't very fit, and I actually come from the other side of the fitness and nutrition spectrum. Essentially, I turned my entire life around with fitness and nutrition by changing my mindset, implementing yoga. And I wanted to help other people with that. So it comes from a really genuine place of wanting to give to others and to share my experience with others. And like I say, I started off as a personal trainer and a yoga teacher, specializing in pre and postnatal. And then I also took nutrition qualifications as well as sort of more communication and life coaching experience too. So that's what I bring to the table. And I bring quite a holistic approach to health and well-being.
Wow. So how long did it take you to get yourself rebooted in general?
Absolutely. So it is quite a severe disease. So, and I was studying a PhD at the time. So I took quite an academic approach to learning, and I read everything that I could about anti-inflammatory things, about fitness. I got a coach. I worked with coaches myself, and I stayed on my medication until such a time as I felt like I didn't need to anymore. In terms of actually my journey, I feel like I learned in steps. So I took papers, I became qualified, and along that way, I suppose I realized I couldn't work my normal desk job anymore because what I wanted, I basically wrote the job description for my life, what I wanted to do. So I took a really back step. I remember being on a train one day and thinking, I feel both within and without, kind of like what F. Scott Fitzgerald writes in The Great Gatsby. And
That's one of my favorite books of all time.
is it?
It is. When I was in
Brilliant.
university, that was my username on the computer, Gatsby. So
Oh,
I love that.
brilliant.
Yeah,
There you go. Romantic at heart.
absolutely. Yeah.
And I sat down and I sort of thought, I don't love what I'm doing anymore. What are the three criteria that I want for my new life? And it was, I don't want to necessarily work at a desk. I want to work with people and I want to help others. Um, those were my three criteria. And I thought, what do I want to do that I can do? What do I love doing? And what I loved doing was reading about nutrition, was helping my friends with their training plans. So I literally quit my job. I went to work in a gym for a fraction of the salary that I was on, and I basically changed my life.
That's incredible. I think many people out there are thinking the same thoughts right this time. Thinking, what can I do now differently this year? How can
Yes.
I reset myself and do something I really want to do? Because life is so short. There is no need to be unhappy, being in a job that you hate, being in a relationship that you hate, being on your own if you hate it, or being unwell or being out of shape. But I think
Mm,
what many people do and this is me included sometimes, is I love to read information. I love to store information. Go on the YouTube, watch the videos, read books, get men's health, get women's health, all the magazines, read the stuff, and then only act on maybe 1% of it because it's a lot easier to take information in than do things. And that's a problem, I think, with New Year's resolutions.
Yes, I see that all the time. And often I think you'll probably agree with me here because you're a coach as well, that often people sort of think, I need to do everything at once. I need to do something completely drastic. And like me, I want to change my entire life around. But mine was actually a process. If I look back, I took little steps. And those little steps, when I look back, they took me a long way, and they still are, right? And I think the mistake that a lot of us make is trying to do too much all at once and trying to do a full 180 rather than breaking down our goals and sort of focusing on external goals a lot of the time rather than looking within first, drawing up a proper roadmap, breaking it down. And something I say to people a lot of the time when I'm working on their goals is, can you do this 100%? Right? So whether that's I'm going to run a marathon in a couple of months, and their goal is I'm going to do 4 5K runs in a week. And I say, can you do that 100%? Can you guarantee me you're going to do that 100%? And they're like, well, probably 80%. So I say, well, could you do 3 runs a week instead? Would that be 100% or maybe 90%? Right. So why don't we say we're going to do 2 runs within the week? I know that's half of what your initial goal was, but if we did 2 runs and you could do that 100% for 2 weeks, and then we built up to doing 3 runs and you could do that 100%, you're going to feel really fulfilled in your goal and you're going to achieve it 100%. And the reason that's so important psychologically, because if we don't feel like we're achieving our micro goals, we're going to give up.
Yeah, that is so true. People do the same with dating as well. They think they're going to suddenly launch into 1,000 dates a week. It's not what happens. But people are often quite scared to do things. Like, for many people, they haven't been on a dating site before.
Yeah.
They haven't been to a gym before, or they think they're going to go to a gym and be judged. Because as we know, January is the peak time for dating, for gyms, for health and fitness. Everyone's doing this. And we call it dating season from the start of January right up until Valentine's Day. And I know I've got clients who are in the fitness industry as well. And they tell me that's the same. But I also found since the pandemic that every day is busy for dating now. And every day is probably busy for fitness because everyone's making new goals throughout the year. And people do become single at different times. But I think people are often scared, aren't they, of doing anything. So getting a coach is a really good thing to do. But what else could they do to overcome that first barrier?
Yeah, that's right. So when I went to a gym, I had no idea what to do. I looked around the room at all these crazy machines, and I actually went up to the gym manager and I said, I don't know how to use half of these. Yeah. But I realized some people don't even do that. You know, they feel a little too nervous to do that. There is so much information out there at the moment. So you can, download videos off the internet. You can ask somebody in the gym. A lot of people are willing to help as well, not necessarily just to sell you a program, or there is, usually somebody to always ask. But the thing is, you've made an amazing step by deciding to start. Right. So definitely don't give up, and realize that being a beginner is actually a beautiful thing. Learning anything is hard. My advice about starting is just do it, but don't try to do it perfectly because you're not an expert, right? You're not an expert until you do something hundreds, if not thousands of times. And the beauty is actually in the process quite a lot of the time. So just do it. Go to a class, ask somebody in the gym, make friends in the locker room, go and ask the gym manager if you can have an intro session, or if you're at home, watch videos, follow a program. There's so much out there, but the key is just do it and then give yourself a giant pat on the back afterwards. What advice would you give for people in the dating world? Is it similar or?
Very much so. What I tell people is everyone's in their own little bubble in life, and they live in their own lives, their own job, their own routines, their own fears, their own dreams. So what I say to them is that you are not alone. Everyone's going through the same experience as you. People are daunted about what to do, whether to go to the gym, that gym in January is packed full of people who are just as clueless, just as nervous, just as optimistic as you are. And when it comes to dating, all these new people joining on the apps, they are scared of rejection just as much as you are. They don't know how to present themselves in the right way. They don't know what to say. So give everyone a bit of a chance. Remember, everyone's in the same boat. You're all just winging it for the first time. And that's part of the fun, isn't it? Just getting to know these things. Stepping into that gym, stepping on the dating app, going to that event. I did an event recently and some of my clients actually came to it and I met them for the first time because I've always done it remotely with them. And it was amazing. They were a bit nervous coming along and 2 out of 3 of them that I'm aware of got dates from the evening. They pushed themselves out of their comfort zone just a little bit, came to it, and they're really pleased that they did. And they thanked me for that. So I think just remember that this is one step of a long journey and doing different things empowers you in different ways.
100%.
So, yeah. And you mentioned just now that you can't do everything at once. You can't set yourself goals that are too high. Break them down to manageable steps. Maybe this week you get some new pictures taken. That's the best way for dating apps. Maybe you'll book some events the week after. Maybe you'll just talk to 10 people each day and that's your challenge. But start off small. Otherwise, what happens is you get overwhelmed, you get frustrated, and you end up settling for people that aren't going to make you happy. Because you think, well, this is the best I'm going to get. I'd rather just go and meet somebody than end up with just being on my own again. And that's the wrong attitude. Enjoy it. Dating's supposed to be fun. And I guess same for you, isn't it? Same for what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Fitness should be fun, endorphin rushes everything. And what you sort of touched on there, having that vulnerability to be open. I have been a trainer on a gym floor and I didn't know how to do every single exercise. And you start off coming out of PT school as well, often looking around a room of guys because there's a lot of males in the gym and going, oh my gosh, am I even teaching this correctly? Back in the day. So we all have this sort of sense of, I don't know, well, how would you call that? Like, what I'm trying to say is to be open, you have to be vulnerable, but the payoff is massive, right? You could meet the person of your dreams. You could, get the body that you desire. You could upgrade your health and fitness and all that, but it's not until you step out of your comfort zone, because change doesn't happen in the comfort zone. Change happens when we open up and we decide to step out into the unknown. And even when, for example, in fitness, even when something starts to become known, for example, if you start to get really, really great at doing a squat, right? Chances are, if that starts to become easy, you need to change it. And that's why, people are always complaining at personal trainers or coaches for making them do the hard things. But a good coach will always make you do the hard things. Otherwise, you could do them yourself.
Yeah, that's so true. Actually, it's funny because people often with dating and with fitness, they take long breaks from this. So maybe they will go to the gym in January and they've given up by May. Then they start again the following January. So what they're doing the same things that they did back at the start again, probably making the same mistakes. They're not growing in that process. And dating exactly the same. Maybe in January, they're going to reboot up the dating apps, give that another go, using the same pictures and the same profile that failed for them in the first place and not improving upon it. They've given up on it. So you have to learn what works and don't be afraid to push yourself and try different things. Maybe this time you'll try upgrading on the dating app and see what happens, or have a professional pictures taken, or get a coach to write the profile. Or in your case, maybe they will just use the opportunity just to get a coach and to push them a bit more to keep them inspired. But what I'm thinking now is that going to the gym is actually a really good way to meet people as well, if you're looking to date or looking to improve your social circle. But I want to ask you this question, because whatever comes into my mind, I like to ask. I'm sure that when you were a personal trainer, lots of guys would try and hit on you in the gym. But this is not so much about you, but how do you approach people the right way in the gym without thinking, oh, goodness me, they're going to reject me, it's been really embarrassing, some 7-foot musclehead's going to come and beat me up for talking to them? Or for women to approach men? What do you reckon? What's your advice?
That's really, really interesting question, because I used to not train on a Friday night for that reason. We have a bit of a saying in the industry that people come in for the pump, guys come in to get sort of pumped up for their dates on a Friday night. So that would be a good opportunity if you wanted to meet somebody, Friday or a Thursday evening. Go on in there. They may or may not have a date already. I think, and please tell me if you agree with this approach. Mine would just be yourself, put your best foot forward. So So when you're going on a date, for example, you want to put on a nice outfit. You want to come across as presentable as you can. And, for meeting somebody in the gym, that is important. In terms of approach, I think as well, just being yourself, going in there with an open mindset, a good attitude, and often a great way to go in, I feel, is just ask a really open question. What are you working on today? What's your training plan like? I've complimented people on their trainers before. So the gym can be a great place to meet someone, simply because you guys are in there for the same reason or a similar reason. So often I think it's a nice place to bond with someone, because everybody's working on themselves in the gym. Everybody cares about most people care about their body, well, not just appearance wise, but a lot of us care about looking after ourselves as well. I think that I never thought about that, but that's a really, really great question.
I love your answer. I think Friday nights, I never really thought about that before. I always tell people to go on a Saturday night, because if people go on Saturday evenings, they probably haven't got a partner to spend the time with. So that's a good time to go. And if you're going to approach people, don't approach them from the behind. If they're on the treadmill, don't come up from behind, make them jump. Go from the front and approach them in a nice way, in the same way you like to be approached in real life. Because guys do that and women do that. They sort of hang around lurking, and it looks a bit creepy and it can scare people.
A friendly smile and a wave goes a long way, especially seeing as most people have headphones in.
That was my next point. There are barriers everywhere in life, and headphones are the most common problem. So I think going up to somebody, this is what I used to do to teach my clients. Go up to them, smile, get the attention, and turn to take the headphones out. And they think, what? And then you just pay them a compliment or say something. Or you say, I just want to see if I can make you do that. And that makes them laugh. Something along those lines. But barriers.
It's a nice icebreaker for sure.
It is. It's a good one. It gets a laugh, and you can just ask them a question. It doesn't matter. You can ask them how they've got any advice on which machines they should use, or you know what you're doing. Can you help me do this? Because everyone wants to help people, don't they?
Exactly.
Really.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Exactly.
So I think don't be afraid of
doing
doing
that. Community as well. Like, remember, the gym is a community. We are social creatures, and that's why it's a great place to hang out, to meet people, whether that's just whether that's for romantically, or I've made a lot of friends in the gym.
A lot of gyms do encourage that, and they have certain notice boards and things for doing this. Some of them don't. Some of the cheaper end don't bother to do that. But maybe they've got a quiz, they've got a night out or a Christmas party, wherever it might be. Go to what is available. You might make some new friends. As you mentioned just now, it's finding like-minded people. And that is another tip I want to give people for New Year's resolutions. Find your support circle. Maybe you've got some friends, or you can get some new friends to join you on your adventures. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I mean, it's why communities like Weight Watchers work, for example. It's not necessarily about the weigh-in. It's everybody's behind you, right? So you touched on kind of consistency before, and I almost wanted to pick that up in terms of nutrition, actually. Like you were saying, people go from, they start really well off in January and then they're falling off the bandwagon. That happens in fitness as well. And then people start to pick things up again in the winter time, which is about October or so over here in the UK. And what they do, they sort of flip from one thing to the other, and there's not a lot of consistency. So whether that's going from diet to diet to diet, it's really demoralizing, because as well with dating, if you're just doing it for a short period of time and then you've got a huge break in between and you're starting again, it takes a lot more motivation, it takes a lot more out of you to consistently kind of do that and fail at it and then try something else. So sometimes the way to go, the roadmap, and it's not quite as sexy, right? To keep doing consistency, to keep doing the diet for 12 weeks, but those things work.
And then you start to see the changes, don't you?
Yeah.
And you get the results from it.
Yeah,
it's like anything.
But in terms of community, I think, like, those are your cheerleaders. That's your team. So, and that's so important for us as human beings. We can have fitness, we can have the perfect nutrition. If you do anything in isolation, we're not going to feel as fulfilled with that. So I think having your cheerleaders on the side, having the team that's with you, going and knowing that you've got a supportive network of people around you, and just being around other people, the energy is different.
That's an important topic. I think find your tribe is probably the advice that we're saying, isn't it? Find people who are like you. You've got to associate with positive, upbeat people who have the same goals as you. If your close friends don't support you on your journey and they're saying, oh no, you're better off being single, you can always come out with us and get drunk on a Saturday night, that's the best thing, or there's no point doing that, or they feel jealous, it's probably best to cut them out of your life, isn't it, really? I'm not saying that they're toxic, but focus on spending the majority of your time with the people that you want to spend the future with, or people that are going to support you.
Yeah. And my experience as a coach, I've seen this as well. And it's a really, really tough one. And you might be able to speak a little bit better on the relationship side of this. But I have found even with unsupportive partners, for example, somebody is trying to get really fit and they're trying to change their health journey around, and they're just not being supported by their partner. Or particularly because I work with women, I see it a lot with kind of friends that become, for want of a better word, quite jealous of somebody else's progress. And instead of joining them on that journey, being a cheerleader for them, coming along on their journey, maybe doing something with them in collaboration with them, that sort of jealousy does become toxic after a while. It's really, really difficult if your partner's not supporting you as well. And I've seen this quite a bit too. But whenever we're going through our own self-improvement journey, it's not necessarily that we're ostracizing other people, but other people, if you're not on their wavelength, a lot of the time they can't sort of deal, right? And yeah, my advice, I can't really sort of speak from the relationship point of view, but if you've only got people around you that are wanting to live kind of a really unhealthy life and only bonding over things like alcohol, for example, it's just not conducive to your journey. So you're either not going to feel very supported and potentially like you want to give up, or you have to try to make new friends. And I feel like people's circles of relationships, for example, I have like my inner circle of just a couple of people, and then I think about it like circles radiating out from that. What tends to happen is if you stick with that health journey, because I've been through mine and I've had to let go of some people in my life, is that people tend to move towards the outer edges of the circle more, because if you're going to be focusing on that and it's not conducive to what they're doing, you sort of have to push them away a bit to welcome in new people.
You have to make the space, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. In the same way in relationships, if you're with the wrong person or dating the wrong people, or you're just dating people to become friends and they become friends, get rid of them all. Because you can't focus on meeting the right person if you're wasting your life and time with the wrong people, just out with the fear of being lonely. And you said also that's a very, very valid point. And what got me thinking as well, a lot of people start off their journey with their friends and they all group up together and they're going to go to the gym or go to dating events or do something like that. And then gradually they fall by the wayside. They give up. You're the last one standing. So don't do it for that reason. Do it for yourself. Because if your support cycle goes away, then you might give up as well. So don't fall into that pattern. I see that a lot with people that are dating. They all start great or excited, need the motivation, or maybe one ends up meeting somebody and then they drop out of your circle as well. Keep going, because it's all new adventures and new fun. There's all different things you could be doing. I think one of the problems that comes from setting resolutions and things is boredom. People do the same thing and they get bored by it. So switching things up is a good thing. And I'm saying this because I saw that last time we spoke, you were doing roller skating around Knightsbridge, weren't you? Right? That's
right.
You're not afraid to try different things and do things like that.
That's it. And I think joy in being a child, like, when I was doing my teacher training for yoga, we had an amazing module. It was actually to do with meditation. And you wouldn't get this for what we had to do, but it basically promoted us to, as a whole room full of adults, get involved in play. So what we had to do for this one exercise is we weren't allowed to name objects, what they actually were. So for example, a yoga brick became a castle. And I built a castle out of many castles. And I would run around kind of demolishing other people's castles, for example. So after about, I think it was over 30 minutes of us playing together, we were asked the question how long we thought it was, and we all perceived it to be under 10 minutes. So I think joy and play is such an important part when it comes to your whole experience of life, particularly fitness, because what we do is we end up pushing the body to do things that naturally it doesn't want to do. Like the natural state is for us to want to sit down and preserve our energy, not to go for a run. So by making things interesting, and for example, making my play or making my cardio into rollerblading, I literally don't realize that 40 minutes have passed. It feels like 10.
I
It's
love
enjoyable.
that. That's so aligned to what I do as well. Because in the fitness, I need to do this more at the moment. I haven't been doing it for a little while, but I work with a virtual reality dating company. And there's fitness things on the virtual reality headsets. Have you tried that? And
Yes,
you
yeah.
can do Beat Saber and you can do boxing, and it's really good fun, makes it into play. But the reason why it's aligned to what I do is I teach all my clients just to be more playful when it comes to dating. Because that is what flirting is. That is what vulnerability is. It's all your dates to start with need to be fun, playful, and vulnerable. Because if you go for a formal dinner and you're sat there for hours or just drinking, it's so grown up and adult, isn't it? Do all the things that you want to do that are fun. So maybe go to an escape room, do the things you did when you were a child, and go to the zoo. The zoo's an amazing thing to do in the summer. Go to the zoo, go to the science museum, go look around a toy store, do things together. And it can really, because when you're younger, you don't have a feeling of rejection. You don't know nothing about that. So you've got to go back to the inner child. Inner child is a very, very common theme on these podcasts. I'm not going to talk about it anymore, really, but it's an important thing. Go out and play and have fun with your fitness and your dating.
Yeah, exactly. And like, cardio gives us endorphins, but it can be really boring. And I give a lot of my clients cardio to do, obviously around their sort of training protocols, but I always try to make it either an endorsement of what they already do. For example, if they really just like walking, we're going to walk a bit more, we're going to walk a little bit faster or whatever it is, or we're going to make it fun, because if it is fun, if it's enjoyable, or if it's social, you're going to do it. And to your point about people making kind of New Year's resolutions and then potentially falling off the bandwagon or hopefully staying on it. But for me, when you're making a New Year's resolution, it's slightly a forced thing. And potentially it could be slightly a goal that's what I call an extrinsic goal, so something that doesn't come from an internal driver. And I feel like an internal driver is really, really important to keep us going and to sustain us. So for example, if our friends fall off the bandwagon, we might be the kind of person that will encourage them to get back on with us. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But if we're intrinsically driven towards that thing that we want, and it's not just, I want a beach body, it's, I want to improve XYZ about my life, that's a much more, it's going to carry you a lot further, right?
Very much so. And it's just working out what's right for you.
Yeah,
that's what it is, really. There's so many different things you could do. Just find the one that you enjoy and mix things up a little bit and just have fun with the whole thing and just enjoy it. But what I'd like to do now, as we come towards the end of this is the start of a new year. So I want to talk about trends and things that are going to be popular for this year coming up. So the things that I'm aware of in the dating world, I think real life face-to-face dating, events and things like that, come making full circle. People don't want to go on the app so much. They want to meet people in real life and ready to do that. That's one of the trends this year I think is going to happen. There'll be bigger events, there'll be smaller ones, more talks. People are much more open for that. And I'd like to hear your thoughts on trends this year for nutrition, diet and fitness. So I'll start one off and we'll go from there. So collagen. I crowbarred that in the conversation just at that point because the reason I'm doing this, because I have no secrets, my listeners. We were discussing this before, that you were promoting collagen. I've started taking collagen. Hopefully by the time this comes live, and I will have great effects. I'll probably look 10 years younger and be able to do backflips. I don't know. So can we start? What are your thoughts about collagen?
Yeah, that's amazing. We were speaking about this earlier, and I agree. I started taking collagen really recently as well, and the reason for that is because there's been a lot more research in recent years on the benefits of collagen, and I'm taking hyaluronic acid as well because that works in combination for a variety of reasons. Both internally, it's going to help with my body's sort of connective tissues and things like that. It's really, really important for the supportive structures of our body. And after the age of about 30 or so, women particularly at a higher rate start to break down more collagen, and then it happens again in menopause as well. So I think it's really important to take a supplement. I was plant-based for a really long time, so I do take a fish-based supplement now, and my diet is a lot more varied. But I think, yeah, it's one of those things that if you focus on quality, definitely, but I think it will sort of pay off, not right away, but apparently you do start to see the results after about 30 days or so.
That's good. My bottle lasts 20 days. So
20.
by this time, it doesn't
You
last
said
very
yours
long.
doesn't taste as nice.
Well, I heard that there's different types of collagen. You can get animal-based and fish-based, and mine is fish.
Yeah.
Mine's marine-based. They say
Marine
they don't say
based,
fish; they say marine-based. Like, what's that?
yeah.
Seaweed? I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah, apparently it comes from algae, so that's another thing. Like, so if you are sort of purely vegan or plant-based, you can take an algae supplement for your omega-3s as well. So it will be a similar type. Mine is derived from cod, I believe. But the other thing is you can mix it with things because it is a stable basically. Even when you mix it with hot or cold things, you can put it in your coffee, for example, and it wouldn't break down.
That would taste disgusting. I ruin my coffee, my morning ritual. It's a sort of raspberry fruity flavor. They've got
Yes.
they put the flavor. So that mix in my coffee would be disgusting. But that's
you can do a shot of collagen and then take a shot of coffee. There you go.
I had one this morning, and it reminded me of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, when they have all the weird things. Like, I thought it's not that bad. It's just, I downed it. It was okay. I'm used to that. But bear in mind, I gagged when I had to take a COVID test. So I'm a bit concerned, but this was fine. I'm okay with that. Talking of coffees and things, I always ask my guests what daily rituals they have. Because my daily ritual starting the day with a coffee, trying to unwind, then getting my kids ready for school. So that's about as far as that goes. But I have Shakti mats now, meditation, and all things I can just make up that I do. But really, what is your daily ritual?
Yeah, really, really good question. I've got so many of my clients on this, right? 5 minutes start to the day. First thing is I put the kettle on, to make my coffee. Second thing is I either foam roll or I do some yoga stretches, anything. It can be sort of hanging off the bench, anything that makes me feel good. While the kettle's still boiling, I'll do 1 minute of exercise in the kitchen, honestly, in my pajamas, some squats, maybe some push-ups on the bench, maybe a wall sit. Then, while my coffee's brewing,
cafetiere then, nice coffee.
Exactly.
Wouldn't mix that with any fish stuff, would you?
I do some, we'll talk maybe about love languages if you have time, but I do some verbal affirmations because my love language is what do you call it? It's speaking, is words of affirmation. Yeah. Words of affirmation. So I'll do some affirmations, whether that's
self-love language, isn't it?
Self-love. Yeah. I give it to myself. I don't expect somebody else to do that. So I'll say, I am brave. I am strong. I am loved. And I'll literally audibly say that out loud. Yeah. And that could be for 1 or 2 minutes, actually. Sometimes I need more. And then the last minute is just me sitting down. I take my coffee. I'm nearly ready to go. I just sit down, close my eyes, and it's literally 60 seconds of meditation. It's clearing my thoughts, focusing on whether that's focusing on the smell of that beautiful coffee. Sometimes I do have my eyes open, but I like to close them down. Or if it's just focusing on my breath or focusing on how my body feels. And then I take my coffee. So it's 5 minutes. And I've got so many of my clients on that. The improvement in mindset, the improvement in the way they start their day, the happiness that they feel from that 5 minutes. And you can kind of play around with what your minutes are and how you spend them. But for me, that just puts me in such a good mood for the day and just really kickstarts my day, even before that first sip of caffeine.
I love that. That's such a great, simple way of doing this to get everything done straight away and really, really reset yourself. I'm going to try that, but it's difficult for me because I'm normally woken up at 6 a.m. by one of my children waking up, wanting to get up, and it's difficult. I have to get them in the shower, get the breakfast, get all these things up. But I do have about 15 minutes. When
there you go. Do you know what? Here's a suggestion for you. Get your kids involved. Teach your kids meditation, teach them to sit down for 30 seconds. I mean, it doesn't have to be long. Maybe you guys could do some squats together, some high five thanks, anything that's sort of like teaching them maybe the importance of that time for themselves as well. Just an idea. You
have reminded me that when my eldest son was a bit younger, we used to do mindfulness and meditation, kids yoga and these things together. I haven't done it for quite a few years. They're quite busy doing their own things, but a great tip though, that really is like, to do it with them and something, calm them down for the day. Of course. Get them ready before they have to do their homework and their spellings and all the other things that come into this.
You spoke about trends as well. And I kind of mentioned that I was plant-based for a while. I'm not going to go on about that, but I sort of more did it as an experiment, and then it became more of a lifestyle for me and something I genuinely enjoyed. But since then I've become more, I don't know what label able to put on it. Maybe it's flexitarian, I don't know. But I've become a lot more flexible with it. I'm incorporated, some seafoods and eggs, again, that kind of thing, stuff that makes you feel good. I feel like the trends for sort of nutrition and maybe even fitness as well, for this year 2023, my goodness, is being a little bit more open with our diets, in terms of we don't have to fit into a box with things. Yeah, and it sounds a bit vague maybe, but we don't have to be solely plant-based, we don't have to be solely keto. We can take what we want and sort of listen to our bodies a lot more and develop a routine that fits our whole life, rather, and in that way kind of stick to it a lot more, rather than kind of flitting in and out. What would you say would be the trends for sort of the dating?
Good question. Well, as well as live events, I think what I'm noticing a lot more patterns now. People, like you just said, actually, funnily enough, it's got me thinking. People are more flexible on what they're looking for, and also sexualities now, and the way that we approach dating and attraction. People are now demisexual, or they're sapiosexual, or omnisexual, or various things that can be very confusing. But everyone is being more open and thinking a lot more about what they're attracted to. Just to simplify that for people that don't know, some people are attracted to look.
Yeah, can you? Because I feel like I need an education on this. Like, I feel like I'm always trying to keep up.
There are so many things. You can be pansexual. You can be people that talk. I've got someone coming on the podcast this week, and she's demisexual, and it got me thinking about this, because I know there's different terms that are pretty much the same thing, but they can be confusing. But people are thinking about this, and it makes it harder for people, because then you are going for something a bit more niche. For example, if you are demisexual, it means you only attract to somebody once you feel the emotional connection with them. So how do you bring that up to somebody early on, that you're not going to get intimate with them until you've got that? People don't always understand. But people are realizing now that there are all different types of sexualities, and attraction is not as simple as you're really fit, do you fancy going out with me? That's how it used to be. That's old school. But people are coming out with this. But on the other hand, it's better, because you can be more selective, and you have more chance of getting a partner that's going to be more aligned with you. So these are the trends that are happening now. Even
it's
dating,
more open, isn't it? Like, my sister just told me recently. I can't say to my sister, actually. I'm not sure how to talk about them. I think is I'm still learning. As non-binary, and so I've had to learn. And they're very forgiving, but sort of like moving to that slightly more objective way of referring to them is difficult. And I want to sort of come across as respectful and understanding, but there's a learning curve there for everybody, I think.
There is for everyone. I think a couple of years ago, the trend was sort of Me Too. Everyone was thinking about that. So what's happened now, things are coming for the better, but they become more confusing for people. Because how do you know how to interact, what you're looking for, what your sexuality even is? Are you bisexual? Are you straight? Are you open on a drunken night? Whatever it might be, it depends. And no one is linear. I think becoming more to a society that is more open, and everyone's going to think more about maybe going for something a bit different, rather than normal things that they went for before. Like, there's certain backgrounds and expectations. They can be more free, which is good. And being free, because whatever happens, I always end my seminars and webinars this way, but I always say that the world needs more love, regardless. And if we can share that in some way and be nicer to people and be kinder and be more open to that, then it's not a bad thing at all.
1000% to that. And I think it starts with you, right? If you can love yourself like that, and practice that for yourself, and then that can resonate, just ripple out towards others.
It does. Be true to yourself. Be the person that you want to be. And this can really be your year. Why wouldn't it be? This can be whatever happens now. Don't look back on this in 6 months' time and say, I wish I didn't get started. You're not going to regret getting started now by rebooting yourself in your fitness, in your dating, in your social circle, whatever it might be. Do something about it. And of course, if you need some help with it, we are here. We're going to be doing some more things together this year to support you. But individually, come to me for dating, for confidence, for relationships, whatever it might be. And Miki, I'll let you tell everyone about what you do and how to find you.
Yeah, absolutely. Come to me for anything fitness related. I specialize in pre and postnatal as well, nutrition, and then mindset when it comes to all of the above as well. So I welcome you to just come into my DMs or send me an email if you have any questions at all. I'm sure that you'll drop my handle and email address down below, James. And
I will do. Can you say your Instagram handle now as well?
Yeah.
You might be listening right this second. I'm going to get on there immediately rather than
Sure, absolutely. It's my name, Miki_Ferris, which is M for mother, IKI_Ferris. That's Foxtrot, Ferris, and that's my Instagram handle. Or you can reach out to me at Miki at M for Mickey X-fit.com.
Amazing. Because some people are audio, some people are visual. In the same way, people have a different love language or a different attachment style, which we're not going to touch upon now because we come to the end of the podcast. We'll save that for another time. So, Miki, it's been an absolute pleasure. I know that we can and we will talk for hours and hours and hours in the future. So thank you very much, and we'll speak again soon. Have a great day.
Thank you, James. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you
so much for listening. I'd love to give you a free copy of my latest book, which you can download right now from my website, jamespreece.com. If you enjoyed this podcast, I'd really appreciate it if you could share the love by taking a few seconds to write a positive review on the iTunes store right now. See you next time.